Hi guys, thank you for finally finding the time to join us. My name is Jordi. I am one of the co-hosts at Angel Stack. What we do is we try and write articles about early stage founders, and we try and get a couple of eyeballs in front of investors for you guys, maybe even among the common public, so that if there's some sales, like any kind of benefit that you can gain out of it, from a podcast video and an article. We would try and help you with that. My co-founder his name is Azhar. I'm guessing Sachi is already familiar with him.
Yes.
But before we start off, could both of you please give me an introduction about who you guys are, and then we will move on to your product.
Awesome. So, hi, I'm Sachi, and this is Vedant, my co-founder. Both of us, we have started Thinkly Labs. Um, and yeah, it's been 6 months that we have started this journey. We are a AI native company. And yeah, I've always had a background in computer science since the start. And during our college time, I think we had this knack where we joined ISEC and we got this thrill of how do you initiate your own projects and really large scale projects, right? I remember I used to talk to clients from Infosys, Godrej, learning from them, negotiating with them, trying to get them onboarded as our partners and things like that. And that just got, and both of us were working in ISEP together. So, we already had this idea of what it looks like to work together and also work on a huge big scale projects. Obviously life happens. We did join corporate jobs, but we couldn't really find that knack of, initiating our own things and having that ownership, how much ever everyone said, this is your project and things like that. But I think that ownership inherently never came. So we just had this one serious conversation at the start of this year, and we were like, what are we doing? Why are we not building something of our own? We are just 24, right? There's so much to do. So let's get started. And yeah, we decided to quit our jobs, and here we are building Thinkly Labs.
Where do you guys study? And ISEC? Okay, you guys work together as ISEC. Did you guys study together as well?
Yes, so
Yeah.
we know each other from first year of college, joined ISEC together, did our first job also together in Deloitte, post which we like moved on to separate ways, different startups to work with.
Brilliant. So, in very simple, basic terms, can you tell me what Thinky Labs is all about?
Right. So we have our own product called as Not. What we help do is we help founders create content on LinkedIn so that they can actually gain trust and visibility among the B2B circle and eventually drive sales through it. Imagine this, right? You are a founder yourself. There are multiple across the globe with AI. Making a product is so disposable. But what ends up happening is, especially as a technical founder, we are so knee deep into building, you hardly talk about your product to others. But in today's world, social media and having eyeballs on you is literally a currency for your company. And this is how North comes into the picture. We have our own proprietary AI engine that creates content for founders by integrating it in their tech stack. And yeah, every week you have like 5 to 10 posts created. Whatever you're talking in your physical world, that's actually created for your digital world. So you can just talk about your product and eventually start conversations on it, gain trust, visibility, and drive sales through it. So this is what North does in a gist.
Got it. So, let's say I'm a founder. So I have a B2B business which is into advertising. It's in the billboard space. And then I have actually always thought that from the state or city that I'm in, Kochi in Kerala, there are not a there I have competitors who are not really visible on LinkedIn. But then I personally don't post a lot of billboard related content on my LinkedIn, right? But I've always thought like maybe I should start pushing it because there could be brands and brand managers from up north who might want to advertise here in Kerala, and they could reach out to me, which mostly it's outbound sales right now. But then, so are you telling me that with your platform, I would be able to create content related to Billboard, let's say every 3 days or once a week on my LinkedIn? And how automated is this? So, like, how much of an effort would I have to put into getting this done?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it, right? You will be able to generate content pretty much automatically. As Sachi said, like it integrates with your tech stack. So imagine you have an AI intern of sorts sitting with you. That AI intern like reads whatever the founder talks about, right? So if you are putting in some information on your Notion today, that itself becomes like a chunk that your intern's going to end up using. So North is your internship layer, like in your company. So whatever information you are relaying to your team or you're relaying to your own business, that inherently gets consumed by your intern, right? And that becomes a part of your knowledge base and ends up as content for your LinkedIn profile. So pretty much the lift off is quite easy. It's very fast, and it gives you the flexibility to generate a lot of posts weekly. All you have to do ideally is either just like filter them out. So whatever you feel is relevant for today's day. So you can select whatever you like and end up posting that on whatever platform. I mean, mainly LinkedIn.
So you're telling me that I will have to create an account on Thinkly Labs, share my ideas, and then I would get output in terms of the content that I can post, which I would have to manually post it on LinkedIn. It's not automated.
That is automated as well, right? So
Okay.
how essentially it works is you get onboarded on our platform. We connect it with your tech stack. So we will connect it as a note taker on your meetings. We will connect it with your Slack or Microsoft Teams, whatever you're using, wherever your team is. Let's say if you're even a user of Notion, Jira, or ClickUp, that's something we even connect to, right? So all these physical world interactions that you're having actually get converted into content that you can post on LinkedIn, right? Because any founder really doesn't want randomized thought dumps. What they really want is like if you are having a conversation with your team where you're motivating them or you're doing something with them, you really want that same conversation to get translated onto your social media and for people to see you in your best form, your original form that you are actually. And that's how we come into the picture as well, or the product comes into the picture, right? And at the same time, as a founder, you already have a digital footprint. Right, you might have done some podcasts, some PRs, anything across different channels, right? So we even accumulate that and create a digital footprint for you, so that becomes like your starting knowledge base. And then dynamically, because we are integrated into your tech stack as well, the knowledge base just keeps on increasing. And that's how you keep on getting your weekly content. At the same time, in case, let's say, yeah, you just want to specifically talk about something, you can just drop in a voice note and it gets converted into your tone voice based on also LinkedIn's parameters of, how to write a hook, how to write a post. So you really don't have to think about all those nitty gritties. Uh, we like to think that we just want content to like unlock distribution for the founders and just have them like one less battle to fight every day. I'm sure founders have like a lot of battles to fight. Content doesn't have to be one of them. It is necessary, so founders need to do it.
That's actually quite smart. Like now that you explained the tech stack integration and all that, I actually think it's quite interesting because I don't have to effectively put it into text myself. Instead, the AI is just reading into like whatever I am doing on a regular basis and then converting content for me, saying that, pushing it to me, saying that, listen, this is something that you can post this week on your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Correct.
Interesting. Now, my next question is, can you tell me a bit more about your journey, how you started off, when, and how did you get to this point today?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. I mean, it's been a wild journey, as Sachi has been telling us about, right? So, I mean, we started off with the whole idea that okay, we want to build something in the AI space, mainly because we've seen it evolve right from the start of our careers. And with that idea, we kind of just started off with an agency model, mainly because we had a deep expertise of actually like building and shipping out systems which work, but we didn't have like an idea worthy that we wanted to chase for a long time. So we kind of started exploring the market, onboarded a bunch of clients. That's how Thinkly Labs kind of started through deployments of various solutions. Mainly, somehow life gifted us in a way wherein we were deploying a lot of content strategy and SDR solutions for a lot of brands. And that was kind of the start of the whole concept that okay, people do still need this layer to be sorted out. Even though there's like a bunch of tools out in the market, still there's some gap which we are not really able to understand. And that's where we started digging deep. And through that experience, through those expertise, we kind of realized that this is what we want to do, right? This whole distribution aspect, solve that whole thing in a way wherein it becomes like a second nature for founders, second nature for B2B teams. And that's been the journey. I mean, we went from being an agency, now slowly we're pivoting, or rather, I would say navigating into more of a product first company.
So you're talking about other players in this space, right? Can you tell me a bit more about your competitors? Because I remember I have quite a few of my friends who reach out to me saying, Georgie, I need an intern to handle my LinkedIn.
Hmm.
This has happened before, and I have actually put them in touch with content creators who they would share thoughts to, and then they would manually have to push it onto their LinkedIn. So at the end of the day, the LinkedIn access is not shared by my friends, but then there are people who share them content saying that this week this is what you can post on LinkedIn. So this is manually done mostly at this point. Uh, can you tell me who these, if you have competitors, who these competitors are, and how you are different from them?
Sure. I mean, we'd like to break them into like three key buckets. Okay. One, people who are using tech, one, people who are not using tech but have a team. So that becomes an agency, right? And one person who's a solo person in the team. So like it's a freelancer or like a ghostwriter in general, right? So these three are like the main buckets. Now breaking it down into like the specifics in terms of the tech companies, we have a lot of like players who are doing solving for each level of the funnel. So you have the top of the funnel competitors right now. A lot of companies backed by IC, or like a lot of companies backed by some big companies also are trying to solve the content here, where it's kind of becoming simpler day by day to like do a lot of content. The only, I would say, the caveat here is no one's really cracked the whole, hey, this doesn't sound like AI or this is not AI here, right? So I think that's where the tech stack is. You also have a few companies who are building on the middle of the funnel, which is trying to surface these intent signals or like work on the whole signal based outbound. So the biggest competitor would be Clay, who's like kind of figured out the whole signal strategy, right? So there's that, right? And going back to now the next part, which is agencies and freelancers. I mean, these guys have been in the industry for over 20, 30 years now. Like they've been operating in the space for a while. And I would say the only caveat here is, which I've heard a lot, like through our user conversations, is that it's very simple to hire an agency or hire a freelancer at this age, but it's very difficult for us to actually evaluate if the person actually knows like really good insights about what we want to post about. Let's say like you are a deep tech founder talking about, I don't know, something like biochemistry, okay, or biomedical sciences. A ghostwriter is never going to be able to like really, understand that industry as well as you, right? But on the flip side, like AI can, mainly because it has a large language model that encompasses a lot of data sets from various sources. Secondly, you have access to the internet. It's all of these things become very simple if you can mold an AI agent that can fetch information for you, consume information from your tech stacks that you use as a founder, right? So I would say the differentiating mode here or differentiating factor for us is the fact that we have really nailed how to do two things. One, figure out how the content actually works from a psychological standpoint, like what do people want to read, right? And second is, yes, people want to read this, but where do we source that information from? Like, where do we get that information from? That's the second thing which we have really like nailed from a tech POV.
And also make it like sound as authentic
Yeah.
as the founder themselves while keeping everything like zero lift for the founder. You don't have to really guide the AI.
Yeah.
AI will live in silos and like gather all the information for you and make it sound like you and not like, as seasoned as you are and not just like a 10-year-old talking about the same topic randomly.
Can you tell me a bit more about how your day goes by? Like, what is your, I'm not going to say 9 to 5 because for founders it's mostly like 12 to 12, but what is that like for you guys?
So right now, I think we are just knee deep into servicing and like we are stuck to our laptops. To be really
Yeah.
fair, the entirety of the day we are stuck to our laptop. I think there's just once a day in a week where we have like in-person
Right.
client meetings to attend. Else, this is our office where you can see us right now. This is where we are always stuck on our laptops and yeah, trying to just win one battle a time, prioritizing our thing. Um, yeah, like on a serious note, we do have a team with us, so it usually starts off with a stand up, then an internal prioritization for us, and yeah, then we pretty much divide and conquer the whole ley line. where Vedant really looks after the problem solving, the product aspects, and things like that. And I look after all the sales aspect and then also the delivery for our clients. So this is how things are divided between us.
Brilliant. Could you both take me through how your sales cycle works right now, plus how far ahead is your tech and what do you have planned for the next 1 month out?
Awesome. So our sales cycle, I mean, we breathe our product, I would say. Content is the driver for our sales as well, right? And that's what fills the top of the funnel for us as well. So usually as part of the sales cycle, it's ensuring that we have the correct content going out every week. At the same time, using the tech itself, we already get certain intents, or we do understand who are the people that are engaging with our post, or whom should we go and engage with, just to like warm these contacts up. Then we go and do a reach out to them, start building a relation with them and eventually get on calls with them. Usually, I would say our overall sales cycle takes like 2 weeks, ideally like 2 calls to, get really close. Post which we just have our onboarding call where we take the client through everything in terms of, and I also understand like their background, what are their expectations through LinkedIn, what do they want to gain authority for, things like that. And then we go ahead and tweak our tech stack, like onboard them on our tech stack and, tweak it a bit to match and, create their entire digital footprint, integrate it with their tech stack, things like that. And yeah, so I would say overall, it's like a 2 to 3 week of sales cycle that we usually see. Currently, we are in the process where we are optimizing our tech stack as much as possible and, getting the output correct, right? I would say like right now our content is like 70-75% there where it doesn't really sound AI. But our aim is to obviously get it to like 99% there, such that no human intervention is even required to kind of check the content. So we are working towards, bridging that gap specifically. And because of that, we are in a phase of, having design partners. So this is something which we are really focusing on, wherein we just want to onboard like we have 6 odd clients with us who are as passionate about the problem statement and really believe in it. We really didn't have to convince them, saying that this is it, this is how the future of sales or the future of top of the funnel looks like. They already believed in the mission, it's just that they didn't have the time and we're solving it for them. So yeah, we are co-building the product with them, with getting the correct feedback and ensuring the content is 99% there. So yeah, that's pretty much about like how our sales is currently looking like. We plan to go through this model till like end of October, post which we would like start onboarding full-fledged clients, and make it open for the market.
Got it. And the tech part of it, Vedant, if you could take me through.
So I mean, in a tech side, like we are using whatever feedback we get from the clients, kind of like build out the product. It's a team of me plus a couple of developers that work with us to kind of shape the whole experience out. Right at this point, it's a 2-step process wherein the product is self-serve, definitely, but we still recommend that you use some sort of like human intervention to like correct the AI content, because no matter how hard you try, the AI models right now are not as great as they should be in generating content. So we're trying to figure out the best way to kind of go about it, which is what Sachi kind of spoke about. But yeah, I mean that's how it is, wherein we allow users to kind of go on the platform, edit, look at things, and then eventually post content directly from the platform. And we're using like a lot of different strategies to kind of figure this whole thing out. So pretty much the whole day is just like feedback from the clients. You look at what is right, what is wrong, implement that feature set, keep building the product, test it out, and ship it out on prod. Yeah.
And now, how often do you guys post or suggest LinkedIn posts for these founders?
We recommend like 4 to 5 posts per week. Like that's the average. Mainly because there's so much content already on social media that's it's already difficult to like put yourself out there and like stand out from the crowd. So the only two ways to do it is like one, outwork them. So like you're posting like regularly, right? And number two is post like really relevant content. So like if you're just posting things which everyone is like talks about, for example, like you might ride a hype train. Like for example, we had the recent like Coldplay gate incident or whatever. You will post about it, you'll blow up for a week, you will be basking in the glory of impressions and whatever, everything. All of that is just vanity because it's not going to compound into anything significant for you, right? So your goal should be I deliver value to my customers, I deliver it like frequently, right? Just like how you build your company. And if you do that right, you will be like in a good place.
Got it. Now, can you tell me something about your target market? How do you define them? Is it solely founders that you reach out to, or you reach out to a company and then say that we can start posting on behalf of your company? What's that like for you, your target market?
So our target market, it actually completely depends. Most of the time, founders are the face of the company. So that's how they like to be in the position where, they are talking about the product, they're talking about their daily life while building the company, right? So that's how usually it comes and makes a fit. But again, there's no barrier per se. For us, our target audience, I would say someone who looks, if it's a smaller team, it's usually the founders. But as the team grows, then we go and, talk to the head of marketing or head of GTM. These two are then the major concerns, or like people whom we actually reach out to. So it depends on the size of the company. But yeah, mostly we also say that, founders always bring like a holistic perspective. And yeah, they are the face of the company. So ideally, they should be the creator for the company as well, content creator. And yeah,
Got it. Now, as a founder, my question is, how much would it cost me for me to render your services for a month?
I think that's a question that still is a question mark. As I said, right, we are in the phase of, we just have design partners now. We are working closely with them, and it's more about getting the product right. If we can unlock the correct value for founders, I'm sure, the price point would also be depending on that value that we're able to add. So yeah, hopefully we can have this conversation 1 month later from now, and I would have a better answer there. Yeah.
Fair enough. Can you tell me how big is your team? What's the hiring process like? Uh, what's the resource that you currently require that you are really looking forward to hiring?
So we are growing at like a 2x pace, I think, every month or so. In fact, today itself, we'll be like releasing a post to say we are hiring two more people. One is specifically a developer, someone who understands N8N AI natively for us to run some POCs. The second is more of a account manager slash strategist who has some idea on how sales works and overall, has a holistic view in terms of GTM. So actually, these were the new two positions that we are releasing. So yeah, it's exciting times in that way. In general, I mean, we have been very strict with hiring. We do believe that we want to keep a lean team, but at the same time, if things are not settling well, and if things are not aligning, we don't mind letting go of people, right? So for us, what's more important is if you have like a agency mindset that you're very resourceful, you understand how to look for things rather than, it's fine if you don't have the answers, but what's more important for us is, can you actually understand how to find answers? If you can do that, if you can find your way through Perplexity, through ChatGPT, through the internet, through, I don't know, reading, blogs, consuming all of these things, if you can figure out how to answer things, welcome aboard. We are a very early stage startup. There are problem statements thrown out every day. Hand holding cannot be like what we can do every day. But yeah, like that's what really matters for us at the end of the day. And that's the sole quality kind of we look at while we are hiring someone. That's the first part. The second part is like, what's the thing that you've been the most proud of that you've done? Whether it's coding something, whether it's hacking your way through something, through life even, right? Like what's the thing that you have done that makes you stand apart? Doesn't really have to relate to your job role. But yeah, so these are the two main things that we look at. And at the end of the day, how can we make it a win for them? I think That's again a very important thing. And we try to be as deep as possible, in the sense that it doesn't have to be something very job oriented, but like really on a personal level, what would make this a win for you? And usually we see that that's what drives a person to be even on our team. If we can make that win happen for them. Yes.
Just I think in terms of team
Good.
set, we are currently like it's both of us and two developers
Yeah.
right now. As she said, like we've been stringent in like getting the right folks in only basis like when we really feel there's enough work for everyone, but also enough chances for people to take ownership and grow. I think the second thing precedes the first, even in certain cases, right? That's been the ideology. And right now we feel like we're reaching a tipping point where there's that exponential cycle coming in very soon, which is why we like kind of pre preparing ourselves in a way wherein okay now we can look for the right people even more and eventually like grow the team.
Got it. And
Yeah.
yeah, brilliant. You're talking about N8N, right? So is that the platform that you're going to be using for automation of the LinkedIn posting, or do you have an API or integration with LinkedIn to post it from your side?
So no, N8N in general, like we use N8N a lot to do our POCs. We feel that's like the fastest way when you don't want to, just directly go into the code base and integrate everything. So it's more of an R&D perspective for us. That's the first part.
You're talking about N8, someone who is familiar with N8N and development, right? So could you tell me how you're utilizing N8N? Or can you tell me a bit more about, in very basic terms, what N8N is so that I could understand and then get a bit more idea about that?
Okay. So yeah, for Anytime, like it serves as a very quick POC for us within the team. So whenever we are experimenting new ideas as a team, we just don't deep dive into the code base directly. What we really do is we just treat it as a separate module itself, and go ahead and build out a workflow on Anytime. So that's how we are using it currently. Now, talking about what N10 is, for us, it was what got us started, honestly, right? It's a very powerful visual tool that can help you to orchestrate multiple actions. So, whenever you're writing in a code, even though like a lot of people, I think native coders don't like N10, but for us, with very product background as well, that we've gotten, both of us have this experience, not just as developers but also as product managers. Visually writing and understanding what are the next 10 steps that your code is going to produce is very important. And especially when you're building a AI layer or anything, debugging becomes very difficult, right? Your orchestration is in a way where, let's say, your first agent gives some output, X output, the next agent is giving some other output. At this point, you need to really pause and see every agent, what output is it giving. If any of the previous output is bad, obviously like the next output is going to come out bad because it's just regenerating the content. And that's why like Anytime is so powerful, because I can do it in a visual format as well. And it's just very easy to debug or even integrate any APIs in less than 5 minutes, right? What you could take on a code base to do, let's say, in 20 minutes or even half an hour at times. N8N either has a native integration already present, in the form of like nodes, what they call, or even if they don't, it's still way easier to do it than to, run up a code base and then do. So that's how N8N comes into the picture. No, for our product, we are not using N8N. There are certain third party APIs who have already natively integrated with LinkedIn, already present in the market. And they are like these B2B APIs specifically meant to, for products like ours to, integrate with. So those APIs are already available, very safe and reliable as well, because they're directly connected with LinkedIn. So we use that, and we have the tech stack like properly maintained in a code base, and it is just like a POC thing for us.
Great. So we were talking about how, as an employee, when it comes to hiring, you would be asking them about what they're something that they are proud of, right? as founders, what is something that you both are oddly proud of about your startup venture?
So there's a bunch of things to begin with.
I would say there are none. I think that's the difference.
That's the
I'm too
dynamic.
brutal, but he's the one.
But I think collectively, something that we have agreed on that we started off, I think still we are bootstrapped,
Yeah.
right? So it started off as a thing wherein we didn't even have a runway to like kind of get the business started. So we started off with that mindset that, okay, like let's just earn as much as we can to extend our runway. And this was back in May. Okay. And I'm talking about back in May as if it's like ages ago, but it's like literally 4 months back. Right. So it was in May when we decided, okay, fine, we need to like really get our runway sorted. So the first biggest achievement I would say was that yeah, we got that part out. We got ourselves sorted for the next 6 months. So we had enough time to build this company, at least the two of us, for six months, which is till December. Right. Then we reached June and our target was now we got to hit some sort of an MRR target. So we decided a very simple target. Okay, we just want to like have 5K USD is what we want to touch somehow in the next 2 months and launch one SaaS, which we ended up doing. So we went from a two-person team launching one SaaS and having like 5 clients onboarded in 2 months, right? And that was an achievement at that point of time. Moving forward to the next 2 months, now we had a plan. Okay, we want to touch like 30 lakhs in revenue, INR. Yeah. And I would say we haven't gotten there, but to that target, what we've done is we've like grown our team now. So we have two more people, we're hiring a bunch more people. And now when you look back at it, it's been only like 5 months since we decided that, okay, fine, we want to like extend our runway to now having more people in our team, extending that even more while we're still bootstrapped. I think that's a thing we are really proud of. And like no shade on things like, people who want to raise money or like have enough capital or whatever. But you learn a lot when you are dealing with like constrained resources in a way. Yeah. And you learn to like really prioritize what is needed and what isn't. Oh. So I think that's been a very nice, proud learning for us through these last few months, and a lot more to come.
I think 100% agree there. As a practical thing, we would like, let's just continue our jobs for a month more, save some money, and, things like that. But yeah, I think we just trusted ourselves enough. And we were like, we will figure out the runway as a two-person team. So that is really something like we are proud of 100%. Did we build the company at the start with just like for the first 4 months we were just two of us and we were earning money from day one. So we've never like it's not ever been like even if it's a case study that we are doing anything at all. Yeah, we've always earned money from day one and we've been able to grow that just as a two-person team. Now we've reached the stage where we do realize that we cannot do everything. It's important for us to prioritize our time as well. And yeah, since we do have that runway where we have been able to earn in the last couple of months, we are hiring and trying to find people who match this energy with us. Yeah. If they can be the next two people who can get the company to double the revenue and take it forward.
So most of these founders that I reach out to, like at this early stage, they're quite tensed and they have a number of problems. But you both seem such like very positive, and it just feels like things are working out for you guys. But then, is there something that keeps you both up at night in terms of okay, there's something that's pending, and what, something that's bothering you on a daily basis as founders?
We have, I would say we were not the most positive people when we started off. It's just been a journey that has made us realize that we need to really prioritize and choose our battles every day. And be really positive about it. If today we can't really dream of, what we want the company to be, inherently we wouldn't work towards it. Like you just got to dream and you just got to take big bets. You'll figure it out how to achieve that and how to make yourself proud, how to make everyone proud around you. But if you can't just think about it or take the bet, the next steps can't really follow. So yeah, like we've learned to be positive in the last 4-5 months. What keeps us up at night? I would say everything. Um, we've learned how to prioritize, but when you prioritize things, there are a lot of things that you kind of uh, push, behind within your head, like you're just kind of numbing it down that okay fine, this is not a priority, but it all comes back at the end of the day when you're kind of thinking that okay, I still have to do this, or I have to still do this. Throughout the day you are able to sail through it, because you're like really headstrong, clear that I'm going to do these two things only, because this is what is important for today. But then yeah, at night it just, I would say the tension is not about um doing, achieving something, or that stress of that, but it's rather, I would say, there are so many things that are happening simultaneously for us. I think that's what's the more anxious or the overwhelming part which comes up at night, and kind of bothers us. But something that we both have like kind of become or are trying to become more mindful about, and just keep us accountable, is just to meditate like for 5 or 10 minutes before sleeping. So it's usually like consume something, like read something, nothing digital, only physical books. So read something for like 20 minutes or half an hour, and then like meditate for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then sleep off. Yeah, that's something just we are trying to keep each other accountable, because only we understand our journey, I would say. So kind of works in that way. So it's helping us to not have these
Nice.
random thoughts, sleepless nights most of the time. Of there's so many pending things. My to-do list looks like 50 tasks that are still left. But yeah, so it's like a tiny step, I would say, in the correct direction. But yes.
Can you tell me what's in future for Thinkly Labs for the next 6 months?
The future is quite exciting. I would say in a statement. Uh, what's in future is we have a couple of clients. So the agency business is what kind of rolls in the money for Thinkly, right? So we have a couple of clients that really good clients that we're working with, uh, building out AI agents similarly in a very similar space to what our product is doing. So that's going to drive a lot of insights for us, also enough cash flow, network, etc. So that is definitely something that will keep rolling by. In terms of the product, as Sachi said, like we want to get it up and running by the end of October. Eventually, like our target internally is that we want to hit PMF by the end of this year. So December end is when we want to hit like a market fit, which also means that if we do hit a market fit, there's going to be a lot of development work definitely, which is what excites me as a builder. But also there's going to be a lot of clients we onboard,
Yeah.
which excites both of us because that's money. So that's what is in store for us in the next 6 months. Like hit PMF, onboard bunch of clients, deliver the ones that we are working with for the agency, and suffice and like make sure we're doing it right. We get the right folks, right cracked people like us into the team who embody what we do really well and just are keen on growing with us, not just alone, but like actually with us.
I really enjoyed talking with you guys. That was very insightful for me. I wish you guys all the best. And thank you for taking the time to, the last 45, 50 minutes spending time with me talking about your business. I hope I can do you guys justice and write something about this.
Definitely. No, I think it's been a really good
Yeah.
experience, Georgie. I mean, thank you so much, firstly, for inviting us for the session. We've been talking about doing this with you for, I think, a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad we got the opportunity today. It's always fun to like sit and introspect a little bit as well. So we had a whole session yesterday when we sat down and thought about, what are the things that we've actually done, just to like gather our thoughts a little bit. And it opens up that gratitude in your head that, okay, like, you are so caught up in the day to day that you never end up like thanking yourself and your peers for the journey that you've like kind of embarked on. So that is what happened yesterday. We felt very like humbled down in a way. So this has been a good experience for us to just like slow down a little bit before like the Q4 madness now starts.
Yeah, it just was the correct time, I would say, for us. Yeah, just to see what we have achieved in the past, where we went wrong. I mean, Vedant and I, we was talking yesterday, and it turned out to be a longer conversation. Just apart from this podcast, also, or like just thinking about our conversation. More than that, it was just we went down that rabbit hole of, analyzing what we have done in the last 6 months correctly and whatnot, and where should we improve for the next 6 months. I don't think we would have taken that conversation anytime soon if not for the podcast. So I'm really, really happy about that actually. And also kind of made us realize that we should do this more often. So we just kind of set our next date as well. Said, okay, fine, like just a calendar invite that we have to have a, you know, yeah, introspection talk again. Yeah, it's just super important to kind of see if we have to really improve on ourselves. So yeah, that was a good unlock for us, which we didn't realize. Like we're mostly so caught up as Vedant in the day to day, kind of becomes difficult to look at the big picture.
Brilliant. I really hope by the time you guys raise your funding and then probably in the next stage, when you're at your next stage, we can do this podcast again. And then we'll still have the same conversation about Georgie. We've been practicing introspection for the last couple of months, like because of this podcast. So that'd be good to know. Great. Thank you. Hopefully. Great. Thank you guys so much. You have a good day.
Thank you so much, Aji.